The calendar just flipped to February, and millions of Americans are about to see something different in their bank accounts. On February 12th, Social Security beneficiaries will receive their regular monthly payments. But here's what most people don't know. The way these payments are structured, combined with upcoming policy discussions in Washington, could mean significant changes to your financial future. Right now, lawmakers are debating provisions that could put additional money in your pocket throughout 2026, and the details are finally coming to light. We're talking about potential adjustments that go beyond the standard cost of living increases you're used to seeing. The February 12th date isn't random. It's part of the Social Security Administration's carefully planned payment schedule based on your birth date, and understanding exactly when your money arrives could help you better manage your monthly expenses. But the real story here isn't just about one payment. It's about what's being proposed behind closed doors that could affect every check you receive moving forward. Let me break down exactly what's happening, who qualifies, and how you can prepare for these changes. Let me start by explaining exactly what's happening with the February 12th payment date, because understanding the Social Security payment schedule is crucial to managing your finances effectively. The Social Security Administration doesn't just randomly pick dates to send out checks. They follow a very specific calendar system that's been in place for years, and it's all based on your birth date. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of any month, your payment arrives on the second Wednesday of each month. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th, you get paid on the third Wednesday, and if you were born between the 21st and the 31st, your payment comes on the fourth Wednesday. This system was designed to spread out the workload and ensure that everyone receives their benefits in an orderly fashion. February 12th falls on that second Wednesday, which means if your birthday is in that first group, you're getting your payment on that date. Now, let's talk about these $2,000 checks that people are discussing online and in news articles. The reality is that not everyone receives exactly $2,000 from Social Security. Your benefit amount depends on several factors, including how long you worked, how much you earned during your working years, and the age at which you started claiming benefits. The average Social Security retirement benefit as of the latest data is around $1,907 per month, but many people receive more or less than this amount. Some retirees who had high earnings throughout their careers and waited until age 70 to claim benefits might receive over $3,000 monthly. Others who claimed early at 62 or had lower lifetime earnings might receive $1,200 to $1,500. The point is that your individual benefit is unique to your work history and the decisions you made about when to start collecting. What really matters right now is understanding the cost of living adjustment that went into effect in January. Every year, Social Security benefits are adjusted based on inflation to help maintain your purchasing power. The adjustment for this year was 2.5%, which means your monthly benefit increased by that percentage starting with your January payment. For someone receiving $1,800 per month, that's an additional $45. For someone getting $2,000, it's an extra $50 each month. These increases are permanent, meaning they carry forward every year and future adjustments are calculated on top of this new base amount. This is one of the most valuable features of Social Security because it protects you against the erosion of your buying power over time. Unlike many private pensions that stay frozen at a fixed amount, Social Security grows with the economy. The more interesting development, and what many people aren't fully aware of yet, involves discussions happening in Congress right now about additional support for seniors in 2026. There have been multiple proposals introduced by various lawmakers that would provide one-time payments or ongoing benefit enhancements specifically targeted at Social Security recipients. Some of these proposals call for stimulus payments similar to what we saw during the pandemic, while others focus on permanently increasing the benefit formula for current and future retirees. The challenge is that these proposals need to make it through both the House and the Senate, and then get signed into law by the President. That process can take months or even years, and many proposals never become law at all. However, the fact that multiple members of Congress from both parties are discussing ways to provide additional financial relief to seniors suggests there's genuine momentum behind these ideas. One specific proposal that's gained traction involves giving seniors a one-time payment of around $200 to $500 to help offset unexpected expenses or rising costs that the regular cost of living adjustment doesn't fully cover. This would be similar to the economic impact payments that went out in 2020 and 2021, but specifically targeted at people receiving Social Security benefits. The argument supporters make is that seniors face unique financial pressures, including higher healthcare costs, prescription drug expenses, and housing costs that often rise faster than general inflation. They point out that the cost of living adjustment is based on a broad measure of inflation that might not accurately reflect what seniors actually spend their money on. For example, if you're spending a large portion of your income on medications and medical care, and those costs are rising faster than food or gasoline prices, the standard adjustment might not keep pace with your personal inflation rate. Another proposal focuses on raising the minimum benefit for low-income seniors who worked their entire lives but never earned high wages. Under current law, someone who worked in low-wage jobs for 30 or 40 years might receive a benefit that's barely above the poverty line. Some lawmakers want to establish a higher floor for these benefits, ensuring that anyone who paid into the system for a full career receives at least a certain minimum amount that provides a more dignified retirement. This would particularly help people who worked in service industries, retail, agriculture, or other sectors where wages have historically been lower. The challenge with this proposal is the cost, because increasing benefits for millions of people would require either raising taxes, cutting other programs, or increasing the deficit. That's why these discussions often get bogged down in political debates about how to pay for such changes. There's also been talk about adjusting how benefits are calculated for people who spent time out of the workforce caring for children or elderly parents. Current Social Security rules can penalize people, often women, who took time off from paid employment to provide unpaid care for family members. These gaps in employment history reduce their average earnings, which in turn reduces their Social Security benefits. Some proposals would give caregivers credits for these years, essentially treating them as if they had been working and earning income during those periods. This would help address a long-standing inequity in the system and recognize the economic value of care work that supports families and communities. Now let's address the timing of when any of these potential changes might actually happen. If Congress were to pass legislation providing additional payments or benefit increases in early 2026, the Social Security Administration would need time to implement those changes. The SSA is a massive bureaucracy that manages benefits for more than 70 million Americans, and making system-wide changes requires careful planning and execution. Based on how previous benefit enhancements have been rolled out, there would likely be several months between when a law is signed and when you actually see the money in your account. That said, if lawmakers wanted to get money out quickly, they could structure the legislation to allow for expedited payments, similar to how the pandemic stimulus checks were distributed relatively rapidly. What you need to understand is that Social Security is funded through payroll taxes paid by current workers and their employers. Every time you get a paycheck, you see FICA taxes taken out, and that money goes into the Social Security trust funds. Those trust funds then pay benefits to current retirees and other beneficiaries. The system works well when there are many workers supporting each retiree, but as the population ages and more baby boomers retire, the ratio of workers to retirees is shrinking. This creates financial pressure on the system. According to the latest projections from the Social Security trustees, the trust funds will be depleted sometime in the early 2030s if no changes are made. At that point, incoming tax revenue would only be sufficient to pay about 80% of scheduled benefits. This doesn't mean Social Security is going bankrupt or disappearing, but it does mean that without reform, benefits would need to be cut by about 20%. This financial challenge is why some lawmakers are hesitant to expand benefits or provide additional payments without also addressing the long-term funding issue. They argue that we shouldn't be making promises we can't keep, and that any benefit increases should be accompanied by revenue increases or other reforms to ensure sustainability. Other lawmakers take the opposite view, arguing that seniors need help now and that we can address the long-term funding issues separately. They point out that the trust fund depletion date is still several years away, giving Congress time to develop a comprehensive solution. These competing perspectives explain why progress on Social Security reform has been slow despite widespread agreement that something needs to be done. For you as a beneficiary, the most important thing is to stay informed about these developments without getting caught up in misinformation or scams. Unfortunately, whenever there's discussion about additional Social Security payments or benefit increases, scammers come out of the woodwork trying to trick people into giving away their personal information or money. You might receive phone calls, text messages, or emails claiming to be from the Social Security Administration and asking you to verify your information or pay a fee to receive your additional payment. Please understand that the Social Security Administration will never call you out of the blue asking for your Social Security number or bank account information. They will never ask you to pay a fee to receive your benefits, and they will never threaten to suspend your benefits unless you provide information immediately. If you receive any communication that seems suspicious, hang up or delete the message and call the Social Security Administration directly using the number on their official website or on your benefit statement. The legitimate way to stay updated on potential changes is to check the official Social Security website regularly, sign up for email updates from your congressional representatives, and follow trusted news sources that report on retirement and benefits issues. When legislation is actually passed and signed into law, you'll hear about it through official channels long before you need to take any action. The Social Security Administration is actually very good about sending out notices when there are changes to your benefits, and they'll provide clear instructions about what you need to do, if anything. Beyond the potential for additional payments in 2026, there are some practical steps you can take right now to maximize your Social Security benefits and ensure you're getting everything you're entitled to. First, if you haven't already, create a My Social Security account on the official website. This free account lets you check your earnings history, verify that your employers have been reporting your wages correctly, estimate your future benefits, and access important documents like your Social Security statement and tax forms. Checking your earnings record is particularly important because errors do happen, and it's much easier to correct them while the records are recent rather than years later when you're about to retire. Second, if you're married, divorced, or widowed, make sure you understand the spousal and survivor benefits you might be entitled to. Many people don't realize they can claim benefits based on their spouse's or ex-spouse's work record if that would give them a higher benefit than claiming on their own record. The rules around these benefits can be complex, but they're worth understanding because they could significantly increase your monthly income. For example, if you're a widow or widower, you might be able to claim survivor benefits as early as age 60, or even earlier if you're caring for a young child. If you're divorced, you might be able to claim benefits based on your ex-spouse's record as long as you were married for at least 10 years and you haven't remarried. Third, be aware of how working while receiving benefits can affect your payments if you haven't yet reached full retirement age. If you're under your full retirement age for the entire year and you earn more than a certain limit, which is $23,040 for 2025, Social Security will withhold $1 in benefits for every $2 you earn above that limit. In the year you reach full retirement age, the limit is higher and the withholding rate is lower. Once you reach full retirement age, you can earn as much as you want without any reduction in benefits. The withheld benefits aren't lost forever, though. When you reach full retirement age, Social Security recalculates your benefit to give you credit for the months when benefits were withheld, so you eventually get that money back in the form of higher monthly payments. As we move through 2025 and into 2026, keep your eyes open for official announcements from Congress and the Social Security Administration about any new legislation affecting benefits. Remember that real changes will be widely reported in mainstream news and will be announced through official government channels. Don't rely on social media posts or unsolicited messages for information about your benefits. The February 12th payment is just one of many monthly payments you'll receive, and while the potential for additional support in 2026 is exciting, it's important to plan your finances based on what you know for certain rather than what might happen. Your guaranteed monthly benefit, adjusted annually for inflation, remains the foundation of your retirement income, and that's something you can count on regardless of what happens with these proposed enhancements.